Hello everyone, I'm Brian. Today I'm reacting to Why Does Violence Exist in the World? Lakhani or Hindu Academy. So, why does it exist? Because greed to a certain degree, but also the greed stems from a bit of survival. So, initial is survival, food, water, shelter. Then, once that's passed, then it's greed. We want more of things that we don't necessarily need. Because once we satisfy the three necessary things, we seek other things. That's my theory. So let's go to get started.
When you really examine all the kind of violence that is taking place on the world stage today, you'll find two motivation. One is either purely power play, commercial interests. This is one of the greatest, if you like, uh, you know, driving force for violence. For example, very frank, say in the Middle East, the reason why there's so much attention given to the Middle East and all so much fighting is because there is oil. So all the major powers are very keen to grab, if you like, a piece of this cake. So that is why they create violence, because they are just trying to get a piece of the cake. This is one reason. So it's got strong political motivation or strong commercial motivation at the back of the political motivation that drives, creates a lot of tension and war. So the way to do, way to get around that would simply be,
Well, I would say that's tied into greed in general. I mean, if oil is very valuable, then you want to make that money, which is greed.
see, once people said, Mr. Lakhani, you talk about the caste system in India and the villages, the potter son is a potter, it's a horrible thing. I say, my friend, actually the caste is now no longer restricted to some little villages and village people. It has become international. You'll be surprised what I'm saying next. I'm saying there is a caste. What does hierarchical caste mean? Means there is one group of people who are trying to control the other people and live off their sweat and blood. This is what hierarchical caste is. Real nasty piece. Now you may think this is visible in some Indian villages, etc. In reality, it's visible worldwide. It's become international. I tell you the example. You got the first world and the third world. Just look at the history of humanity. In the last 200 years, the European culture, European civilization went out of his way to capture, control other part of the world. They really divided the whole world. Australia, New Zealand, North America, South America, most of East Africa, Africa. No, they really divided up all the rest of the world and little pieces of cake that they can kind of eat and squeeze money out, take away the resources. This is the first world using their economic muscle to squeeze life and blood out of the third world. Here is your caste system. Same issue, except now it's internationalized. The first world squeezing. This is why the poor nations, because they don't have economic muscle, they can't fight against it. They are at the mercy of these commercial powers and say, oh, come on, we're going to buy your coffee at this price, your bananas at this price. You sell it, otherwise you die. So the poor people, the third world is kind of, this is the significance of the caste on a worldwide scale. First world ruling and living of the skin, of the lifeblood of the third world. Reality, isn't it? Whether it is resources you pinch at a low price, or whether we pinch their, if you like, the human resources, the human power to buy cheap material from them, get cheap material to produce in a cheap way. This is the real caste visible. This is one of the reasons why we have violence in the name of religion. It is, if you like, this kind of very strongly colonial approach in dealing with world affairs. That's one. The second.
I'm going to pause real quick. I'd say that, again, I'm not an economist or anything like that, but based on my thoughts, I don't know if they're right or wrong, but these are my thoughts. It's kind of hard, honestly, because I thought about this, honestly, as well. I keep saying honestly. But, like, imagine you go to, so Google, for example, the YouTube. You get so much money per whatever views, right? So imagine if that's a flat rate everywhere in the world. So, for example, maybe in America, YouTube pays decent. But that decent amount in another country could be millionaires. And, you know, you could kind of destabilize the economy a bit by, introducing so much money or something like that. Again, not an economist. But maybe that's what's needed. I don't know. It's economy, society, it's all kind of a delicate balance. It needs to grow somewhat naturally. It needs to grow somewhat slow because any rapid change can destroy everything. And sometimes maybe that destruction is needed. Again, it all depends on the situation, but generally speaking, most of the time, I think it needs growth, and it needs slow growth, and not necessarily rapid growth. It could be a fast growth, but not rapid. We're human beings. We're slow to adapt, and I think any kind of rapid growth can really destroy a country and its people. So, I mean, again, this is economy stuff. This is definitely not my field of view, but these are my opinions on that matter. That like my birth country is a third world, and I still love the place because there's family there. It's just freaking family, man. That's what really matters. Don't get me wrong. It would be nice to have nice, fast internets and stuff, and reliable internet for that matter. But family, friends is really much more meaningful. And there's another thing that's definitely needed over there, but uh, it's gonna be this has to be a slow change because if there's any kind of changes, it's going to mostly affect the poor. The poor people don't have enough money to make rapid changes. The mid to low income families are going to be affected greatly. So, I mean, again, just my thoughts on that.
That is why we have violence or problem in the name of, on the world stages, in the name of religion. You may be surprised. Now, the reason behind it is very simple. The three Abrahamic traditions are exclusivist by nature. I'm telling you, they cannot tolerate this idea of more kind of pluralistic approach that comes from the Indic religion. They just can't stand it. I'll give you my example. I was the director of Religious Education Council of England and Wales for many years, and I was trying to push in the idea of pluralism, many ways to be spiritual, not just one way, not just Christ, not that we are chosen people, but with a special covenant with God. I was fighting this all the time, and do you think the Christian or the Jewish lobby were prepared to listen to me? Nothing doing. They said, Mr. Lakhani, stop using the word pluralism. Exclusivism is the name of the game. This causes violence in the name of religion, because there is exclusivism doesn't mean just okay, I'm right and you're wrong. Within the same religion, you will have a division again. Haven't you seen in Northern Ireland Protestants killing the Catholics and Catholics blowing up the Protestants for so many years? So even in this, exclusivism doesn't stop with just one religion. It subdivides the same religion. So within the same religion, people are blowing each other up.
The reason why I laughed there is because you didn't need to give an example. I know about it already. It's really crazy, to say. Oh, let me give you an example of exclusivism, exclusivism. Anyways, exclusion and the religion, and yeah, yeah, it's very well written in history. As a matter of fact, the Hundred Years' War, all these the Crusades, everything, man. It's just, whew. I get why in the past it's all about power, and it's just genuinely sad. Because imagine if all religions are treated equally, like in Hinduism. Now I don't know if all of Hinduism that everyone treats all religions equally. Again, we're all human beings here. Let's be a little bit realistic. I bet you there are some Hindus out there who genuinely believe that their religion's better than another, even within Hinduism itself. So Advaita Vedanta, or sorry, Kundalini. I don't know if Kundalini yoga is like a particular one, but I know Advaita Vedanta, Buddhism, Taoism, maybe. Is that the right one? Or, but you get what I'm saying. But I do. Hopefully, I hope that I am correct in this one. That at least majority of Hindus are perfectly fine with people believing what they want to believe. I hope I'm right on that one. I hope I'm wrong. That there's maybe more people who believe in the exclusion version as opposed to the inclusion. Again, as long as it's not being forced, it's fine.
So the idea of exclusivism has to be taken out like a thorn in the side of all religions and incorporate in a way, embrace the idea of pluralism that comes at the heart of Hindu tradition. I'm pumping it in, and I tell you, I was struggling with the Religious Education Council. I must say, put this on air, because they were not prepared to listen. Therefore, this is a weird thing, Mr. Lakhani. This is the resolution, the prescription of how people of many different religions, or even people in the same religion, can coexist with each other with dignity and full flow without any problem. This is your way. This is my way. I won't impose my way on you. This is your way. Suits your temperament. Good for it. Progress, my friend. If we incorporate, first recognize this first world, third world division, and people in power and position trying to squeeze money out of, squeeze resources out of poor people, that will stop one form of violence.
Well, not just in terms of the first world to the third world. You even look at it within the world itself, kind of like within the religion itself. I mean, you kind of have, how do you say, kind of this money divide in America, but it's something that I think it's just gonna be. Can't really be helped. As in, it can be helped, but it's going to revert back to it again eventually because we are human beings, and I don't mean like people in the higher up necessarily taking advantage of the poor, but it's also the reason why people are poor is because they're just poor management of money. They're compulsive buyers. They're compulsive gamblers. They're just compulsive at something that they just have to spend their money in. You know, so I remember hearing a story somewhere about this. I don't know where, maybe YouTube or maybe with some friends, but I remember them telling me about like there's this guy that went to a casino, gambled his retirement fund, all of it, put his house up, and gambled that away too, and lost it all. I'm like, and this is what I'm talking about. Like, you can't really fix people. I mean, you can try, but they have to be willing. Can you fix everyone? If everyone's willing, absolutely. I mean, they have to be genuinely willing, though. Not they're saying that they're willing. Until everyone becomes genuinely willing, it's going to be hard. And it's going to be the way it is until it gets to that point.
The second form of violence is stopped by recognizing pluralism, many ways to be spiritual. Once you embrace that idea, the Abrahamic tradition, violence in the name of religion will stop instantly. This is my promise. But they won't do it. I was struggling to put, in fact, I'm going to put in the word pluralism into the religious education syllabus by just really shoving it in with tremendous resistance from, you'll be surprised, from the Jewish and the Christian lobbies.
And not just that, again, this is something that I've said before in the channel. Like, even if you put a stop to religion, you say religion doesn't exist anymore, people will find other things. Like, look internally in America, there's a lot of internal fighting. I mean, I'm sure this is happening in all countries, but just I have examples in America now. Anyways, but people are just fighting for different things: territories, food, like just money, greed, like status, like social status. Who's the top dog? Who's makes the most money? Who gets the hottest wife or hottest husband? Or who has the best children? Who has the best lawn? Best house, best decor. All these things are people are willing to fight and potentially, of other people. It's stupid. There's this story I heard again. I can't say it completely, but I do believe it to be a true story. I wouldn't doubt it to be. But anyways, you can hear it. Well, I don't know if it went world news or not, but let me just say this. I'm rambling here. There was a person who went to Las Vegas and did a lot of and they could not find a reason as to why he did it. He just did it. Another example I remember hearing is there's a person that went into like a small restaurant. It's not like a very big one. It's just kind of where you kind of get something to eat real quick and get out. Um, he went smoking in there, and you're not allowed to smoke in restaurants anymore. It's illegal. I believe the waitress told the person that you can't do that. He leaves, comes back, and her only, and then just sat there and waited for the cops to come, and he gave up. Like, so to say that get rid of certain things, it's not gonna fix the world problems. It's I don't know what it is. Well, it is actually. I do believe in a lot of the not Hinduism religion, but Hinduism just ways of life in general. And I could see like Western religion working too, again, but it's not like the one he's talking about where it's highly restrictive, saying no, ours is better than yours, you better join us. No, nothing like that. More of the, hopefully, the more modern version of it, which is generally speaking more acceptance. Like, oh, you're this, that's really cool. I'm this, and they're cool with it. Not a lot of those around, but it is a growing number. It's very small, I'm sure, but I'm glad at least it's there and it's growing. But yeah, in terms of Advaita Vedanta, identifying who your true self is, that you're not your emotions, your thoughts, or anything like this, or you don't get offended or anything. Well, not necessarily don't get offended, but at the very least, not get offended very easily. I think that can help a lot. But much like what all the swamis and gurus have been teaching on this channel, is that we look externally for our happiness and we don't ever look inside. Sadhguru says we don't read the instructions for this thing and we don't look internally for happiness, which is very true. Everything is external, so everything external influence our internal, as opposed to our internal and external are completely separate things. But I don't know. It seems like an impossible task because the number of people that you have to enlighten keeps growing and growing and growing. You used to, like Segura, as far as Segura talks a lot of numbers, but like Segura said, like I think like 200 years ago, we maybe like 1 billion people or something like that, and now we're like at eight. It's crazy. So anyway, that's my reaction to why does violence exist in the world. If you like my content, please consider subscribing, thumbs up, down below, thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.